NIO Day 2024 has come and gone once again, which means it's time for my not so hot takes, my reaction, my thoughts about the event. I'm going to share 5 takeaways about NIO Day and as well as some thoughts I have about NIO going into 2025. Let's start with the main focus of NIO Day, the NIO ET9. I'm not interested in going over all the specs and the tech details and all that. You've seen it already, you know what's in the car. Really what I'd like to do is touch on how different the Chinese and the American car markets actually are, as well as the Chinese and the American mindsets. So if you're in the States and you want to buy a $100,000 steer-by-wire car filled with the best tech, you get this. It's an angular tin can on wheels that was supposedly built and designed to survive the apocalypse. Their marketing was saying how it's a bulletproof car, the glass cannot be shattered. It is designed to be off-putting, scary, dangerous, and intimidating. And to me, this is a very American way of thinking about a lot of things, but design in particular. It's meant to be the biggest, most brutish, least appealing to other humans, besides the owner, but people outside in general, type of car on the road. It is a vehicle that's meant to be, ready for the inevitable apocalypse. This is just my opinion, but to me, it's a quite sad and troublesome statement about the United States of America and how Americans think. Now, if you want to buy a $100,000 car, steer-by-wire car in China, filled with the best tech, the most forward-thinking design and features, you can buy a NIO ET9. A car that not only looks like it was designed with the driver and the passengers in mind, but also with those around you that share the community with you. It's not meant to be scary, it's not meant to be off-putting. From the super advanced heads-up display that will prevent injuries and death to pedestrians, to the projection system that can make a crosswalk on the road, which we've seen in other cars, to be fair, as well as to the way it can adjust for potential unavoidable crashes, this car seems to be designed for humans first, and not solely for the owner, but for the entire community around the car. Now, we can discuss all day the impacts of personal vehicles and how bad they actually are for community, for urban design, for public safety, for the environment, all that sort of thing. But the fact of the matter is, personal vehicles, cars are a fact of life. It's unavoidable. It's not going to change. Basically, we're left with 2 options when it comes to the personal vehicle. You either have one that's a fortress that's meant to be scary and intimidating for those around you, that's meant to win in any crash and be indestructible. And, if you hit a small car or a person, it's going to kill them. Or you can have a vehicle that's more thoughtful, that's meant to hopefully avoid crashes in the first place. But then also, if you are in a crash or you are dealing with people around you, pedestrians, cyclists, all that sort of thing, it's a vehicle that's actually thoughtful of them and considerate of them, and it makes for a better, safer, more enjoyable community for everybody. And to me, when you put these 2 products side by side and you think about what they say about person driving and what they say about the community, I think it really goes to show just how far we've fallen in the United States of America, at least, where it's a good thing to have a bulletproof car. It's a good thing to have a car that is scary and intimidating. It's just, to me, I don't really have much else to say on that. But if you do have thoughts on that and my takeaway, please leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear your guys' perspective on this. Maybe I'm totally off base, which is fine. I'm off base a lot. Call me Ricky Henderson. Poor guy. R.I.P. Ricky. Okay, so the second thing about the ET9 and why I think it will do very, very well, at least for its target market, is the attention to detail for rich people. I'm not rich, I'm not a famous guy, so I can't necessarily relate, but some of you may know that previously I did work very, very closely with a billionaire in China. He says he's a billionaire. He's very rich. And we used to cruise around in the Rolls Royce all the time, and he loved talking about all the details in that car. He loved to tell everybody about it. And it wasn't just his cars, but he talked about the details and everything. He was so addicted to shijie details. He would tell you about, oh, this cup is not right. This cup is a whiskey cup, but it's not the right level of, thickness of glass or whatever. Or he would talk about his suits and how the interior lining, the stitching is this and that. He loved the details. To me, he's an ideal customer of an ET9. He's the kind of person that would buy it. And he's the kind of person that would tell everybody around him, look at this, when I get out of the car, you can't see my face. It protects my privacy. He loves that sort of thing. And I think that, not just him, I've been around lots of other extremely rich Chinese people, but probably rich people are the same the world over. They love the exclusivity, they love the attention to detail that you can't get in a normal product, a normal car. And so I think, at least from everything we saw at NIO Day and when they presented the car, there's so many details that a person like him, an extremely rich person, will just really get a kick out of, that I think this car will do really well for people in that kind of market, that kind of tax bracket, let's say. And people that want that attention but also don't really want that attention. You know, they want the attention from their peers, but they don't want the attention from the public. I think that that's a really good thing that NIO did, is they paid attention to what these kind of people actually want. And you could even see it in some of their presentation. They had, you know, some rich people, their first customers, who are going to get the car, like the boss from Meta, or Herbert Dees from VW, or the lady, I forget who she was now. Anyway, in the presentation, you guys all saw it. So my number 3 takeaway about NIO Day was just how big the event has truly grown. I think they said 22,000 people came this year, whereas I think the biggest previously was around 10,000. So it's more than doubled, you know, from previous years. It's just huge. People from all over China, and not only all over China, but all over the world. A year ago in Xi'an at NIO Day, I think there was 2, maybe 3 European users who came from Europe to take part in NIO Day. And this year there was like between 12 and 15, around that number. People from Germany, Norway, Sweden, and the Netherlands. I don't think, oh, and Belgium, sorry. I don't think there was anybody from Denmark, because they haven't sold very many cars in Denmark, so that's kind of unfortunate. But to me, it was really great to see this group of users. We also got to see a lot of their art. There's user art from, of course, Chinese users, but also now European users. There's paintings and photographs and really cool stuff to see how talented the people are in the community. And then, of course, hopefully next year we're going to have, you know, maybe 30 European users, but also hopefully next year we have users from the Middle East, from the UAE. They've already launched in the Middle East now. So hopefully we have even bigger global community, which I think is very important for NIO, for their brand identity, their positioning in the market, but also just for their success, not just globally, internationally, but in China. The more foreigners that, you know, become part of the NIO community, the more people in China also will like it. You know, if foreigners are buying into this brand globally, then perhaps it's all, you know, it's a good brand. And Chinese people still, in some capacity, don't necessarily trust or believe or like their national brands. They still, to a large extent, really like foreign brands. You know, they love Tesla, Mercedes, things like that. But it's changing, it's slowly changing. It's actually rapidly changing, but maybe not fast enough to really completely turn the tide. But as more foreigners say, hey, this brand is good, we like it in Germany, we like it in hopefully United States of America, we like it in Dubai, people in China will also see the value in that. Number 4 takeaway is Firefly. There's some people like it, some people don't like it. It's had a little bit of controversy online since it launched about the exterior. To me, the exterior, whatever, I don't really care. For me, what I want to talk about is the digital interface. It looks really, really cool. The about a minute video they made of it looks amazing. It looks like so much fun, youthful, and totally different from any other car interface that I've seen. So I'd really like to get in the operating system, the infotainment, play around with that when that comes out. We haven't seen that much of it, but from what we've seen, it looks really, really unique and interesting. And I fully trust NIO to have, of course, a fast operating system and a high quality operating system. Put that in a small, more budget-friendly car, I think it's really, really actually killer, because that's how you interact with the car. You know, you don't look at the car from the outside for the most part. You drive the car, you interact with it on the inside. And so, like, when I've driven other small cars, neighborhood electric vehicles in China, a lot of them, because they're budget friendly, their operating system sucks, the features suck, they're laggy, they're slow, they're not very good. But this one looks like it's gonna be quite different from those other experiences that I've had. So I think that's something to keep an eye on. My 5th and final takeaway from NIO Day is that I've never seen NIO staff and everybody that I interacted with from NIO as confident and as happy. I wouldn't say carefree, but just more relaxed than they've been ever before. You know, I would say like a year and a half ago, NIO was going through like large amounts of layoffs. They had NIO Day in Xi'an. The vibes were kind of off, especially around the time of the layoffs, and people were overworked. They're, you know, pulled to the end of their rope, stressed out, and a lot of people just seemed, I can't speak for these people, right? But they seemed a little bit slightly unhappy perhaps, and just like there was too much going on. And this time, interacting with NIO staff and everybody around the whole NIO environment, people seemed a lot more energetic, a lot more confident. And I'm not saying this to like make a projection on the stock or on sales or anything like that, but it seemed like people have, from the last year or two to now, have kind of gone through the darkness and come out the other side to feel a lot more confident about what they are doing. And I would even say it started back with the Onvo launch party what was that, May or something, or June, I don't know, half a year ago, where the vibes in that, if you watch my vlog of that, the vibes were just like so much fun and everybody was so happy. And now Envoy is doing quite well. They just announced, I guess today or yesterday, produced 20,000 cars, delivered 20,000 cars. They're doing quite well. NIO's confident about their tech and what they're doing with their R&D. With the ET9, it just looks like an amazing product. And I think that, they're still gonna be working very hard, overtime all the time, a lot of hours. Those people work a ton. The vibes just feel better around the company for the people working there. At least that's just the feeling I got. And I would love other people's perspectives and thoughts on that as well. So yeah, that's my 5 takeaways of NIO Day 2024. Let's hope in 25, the good times keep on rolling. And if you're an investor in this company, then you can hopefully make some money in 2025 at last. But that remains to be seen. Anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.